very similar to the strategy that Harry S. Truman came up with in 1946. Why we have strayed from that toward the Kissinger plan, well, you have to look at how our political structure has been skewed and altered by economic controls, monetary control. And there's a saying that all wars are bankers' wars. There's a lot of truth to that. We are literally at a state where our economy has spent out all its credit trying to fund a fake, almost a facade of growth and improvement. So far, they basically bet the bank on a plan to give more money to bankers and nothing to the American people. What they could have done is help the American people out, but instead now we are stuck with a credit default situation, which can only be covered with a massive war. Go ahead and ask me a question. I'm not trolling you at all. I'm trying to get your vote. I'm trying to get your support. I'm trying to get you to believe in something other than be apathetic and say, forget it, who cares? Which is the common expression in America today. We defend ourselves. Yeah, that's the whole point. I believe in a really strong defense. So I don't shirk when I talk about using UAVs and robots, using a non-standing army, something that could be a rolling army of unmanned vehicles. This is something that could happen just to deter enemies from attacking these safe zones. This chat isn't big enough. What's the percentage of the rich are non-American? Quite a few people around the world. You know, the top 1%, they don't live in America. You like my hairstyle, Baby Dave? That's sweet. Well, I'm going to explain what's happening with all those strikes in Syria. Basically, it's a provocative move that Barack Obama has decided to do. I do not recommend it. This provocative move will trigger a response from Bashar al-Assad. Now, mind you, Bashar has 350 high-level planes, jets, helicopters capable of defending Syria. This is not a cakewalk. This isn't like walking into Muammar Gaddafi with his 5 F-15s and saying, okay, Muammar, bend over. Yes, absolutely, electric fence and laser sensors could definitely protect a railway, especially if the lasers are guided sensors. You're enjoying it very much. Thank you, Roger. Sarah's hair glistens from the frosted trees. Isn't this a beautiful background? It's just cold, kind of like the colder war that Barack Obama has started. I'm going to use my inside voice. It tells me that we need to seek peace. We cannot keep being the warring imperialistic power, pressing our will upon the others around the world. We're being seen as a very, very negative influence. The world opinion of America sucks. You travel to Italy and you go into other nations, you'll get people saying, are you American? And you'll want to say you're Canadian because they hate Americans. Starves your brain, Meow TV, that's a joke. You know, you lose weight, you burn calories simply by thinking. You're gaining weight. You're actually contradicting yourself in that statement. You're gaining weight by starving your brain. By thinking, you're actually burning calories. I know. Well, the 2 F-18s that were lost when they were taken off the warship of the United States, Carl Vinson, recently, one plane is completely missing. They don't know what happened to it. One of the pilots is gone. I have never breakdanced naked. No, I need to always breakdance wearing my cup. Otherwise, things get in my face. Yes, you can lose weight by thinking. That's what I'm trying to help you do right now. I'm going to give you a statement that will force you to lose 35 calories in your brain. The glucose in your mind is going through an acetyl alcohol chain reaction, processing the glucose and putting out 30 calories. Just know, I just told you enough to burn 30 calories. I'm not a narcissist. I'm a hedonist. A hedonist is all about pleasure. I enjoy pleasure. Another alleged beheading by ISIS. This has been going on. A lot of these journalists have been abducted. We don't know who, by whom, and by where, what happened, but they have been abducted. They've been waiting to go into the journalist waiting area for beheadings. There must be like a special location somewhere at the CIA headquarters where they have journalists sitting there waiting to go into the video room for the next beheading mock video. Now, I'm not going to watch a beheading, no. I don't believe them. For one, these aren't even real. You don't even see blood in these things. An aid worker, right, yeah. They're just coming up with all kinds of beheadings to make us fearful of another terror attack which is their justification for war. This is a no-brainer, folks. We are much smarter than these idiots in the CIA. No, it isn't real. It's only been corroborated by one source, the White House National Foreign Aid Council. Council on Foreign Aid. Excuse me. National Defense Council. My mistake. Okay. Well, the no video, no blood, that the video stops and you see a headless body. Same thing. Manny made a good point. Thanks. Sean, if you think it's real, ask Manny why he thinks it's not real. Well, it's up to you, 242, but I don't really provide alcohol to people. I urge all of you to not drink. It's highly addictive. But if you want to have a beer or two, that's fine. Well, I am smarter than the CIA. I have 185 IQ.
You'll have to buy it yourself. We won't buy it for you.
We don't buy beer for people. That's
but
80
sure,
get better.
reward yourself with a beer once you've gone through 90 days of our show.
See, a third-party fan says it's fake for sure. The only beheading vids that they don't show are the actual beheading stage for sure. Yeah, you see better beheadings from the drug cartels down in Juarez. These beheadings coming out of the CIA art department have nothing on those beheadings. Yeah, I've got way more intelligence than the CIA. I don't think you can buy marijuana-flavored beer in our area. Supposedly they opened up the first recreational marijuana providing store in our area out in Mount Vernon. Hit the news, actually. Problem is they only sell a small amount of weed and you got to pay $25 a gram. No, it's always been 185. It's never fluctuated. Your mind wants you to say, in your mind, it was like, no, that's a different number. You could possibly say 185. No. It's always somebody else saying, oh, that's impossible. What are you doing? They don't show the gore, so the video will possibly be run by Western media. Oh, Shebang has a perfect excuse. Is that the same excuse they use for not showing a picture of Osama bin Laden's dead body? Oh, it would trigger a terrorist attack. Oh, but now Chuck Hagel, the Secretary of Defense, says ISIS is in our country, ready to strike on us. So apparently showing the revealing Saddam Hussein's dead body and Muammar Gaddafi's dead body and countless other terrorists' dead body, that must have triggered this terrible attack. But oh no, we can't show you a picture of Osama bin Laden's dead body, can we? Because we don't have one. He was burned in Tora Bora, burned to a crisp. You don't really get a good picture with crispy critter. All right, I don't want terrorism either, don't get me wrong. Well, let's be clear. These people have been conducting attacks on foreign agents for years, and we're gonna prevent that by having surgical strikes around the world on all of our enemies and triggering World War III. Let's be clear. What is this thing? Barack Obama didn't do surgical strikes up until I talked about it 2 months before he started doing it, and now he found out this thing called surgical strikes, and they want to do it everywhere. I don't know about the fake cell towers in the U.S. That's another weird thing. And today, I don't mean to digress, but we saw like, I'd say 15 chemtrails in our sky above our head.
Yeah, there are a lot.
And I got Sarah to actually possibly admit, thanks Harvey, that maybe we'd have chemtrails. I mean, this is the first time. It's a big moment for us. Wow, I thought that was really Obama talking.
Because I said it was, I've always thought it was water vapor,
yeah.
And you know that it's cold up there, so when the hot air of the vapor hits the skies, then it shows a trail.
Well, this is the deal. Water vapor, and I was explaining this in the car with her. Water vapor. Why do we have to be interrupted at a critical time when I'm talking about the scientific breakdown, the subatomic breakdown?
Here, I'll get it. You don't have to be interrupted.
I'm going to interrupt myself. Hang on.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for calling, however. But, I don't know about it because we were talking about condensation and evaporation, and the question is like, once those vapor trails are in the air, why do they spread out? Why, if they're condensing, why don't they get closer together?
All right. And my argument was that in a temperature like we have, which is about 80 degrees, and if the planes we saw releasing this stuff above our heads were at about 2,000 feet, the temperature wouldn't be below 0 or centigrade or below 33 degrees Fahrenheit. So they wouldn't be condensing rapidly. I argued that it's most likely a case where there's particulates in this and they're not evaporating. So if it was just steam, it would evaporate rather quickly. But these things linger for hours. You've seen them. Yeah, they were dropping at 2,000 feet. I had a... Herbie's calling. Oh, cool.
Spread because of the jet
stream. Yeah, Herbie, go ahead.
Weather conditions.
Wow, somebody's sleeping. Yeah, why do they fly at weird angles, like hash marks across the sky? What they're doing is they're seeding the atmosphere with, with aluminum and barium in order to trigger ionic magnetic streams that draw water, moisture, into the Pacific Northwest. Now the question is, why are they drawing moisture into the Pacific Northwest? We've had the most rain in the history of Washington State this past year. What they're trying to do, and this is my theory, and I'll talk about this on Monday as well, is they're trying to trigger a false sense of a global climate change problem. They're creating droughts in California. There hasn't been any rain in Oregon for a long time. Central California, Texas, Oklahoma, all facing massive droughts. You're gonna hear the Democrats coming up in 2016 talk about how they need to be in favor of cap and trade so we can stop the greenhouse and destruction of the global climate change that's happening. Ugh. They're triggering global climate change at a rapid pace. Thank you. Shouldn't condensing vapor close when it does reach the air, it would evaporate if it was just a vapor trail. If it's a particulate trail, it's going to linger, and this stuff lingers. Yes, I will ban chemtrails. Guess 73131320444. I'll tell you about HAARP, but tonight is not the time to talk about high-frequency active auroral research project. Okay, I'm going to leave the phone off the hook. If you want to contact us seriously, you'll have to negotiate Sarah to get onto Skype, and we'll talk there. Scotland, I think, should have independence. I think it's time. I'm all in favor of Braveheart and Mel Gibson. Okay. But I don't believe that Texas should be allowed to secede from the Union. But you know something? If Texas wants to secede and become Little Mexico, I can definitely put it out to Puerto Rico to become a state, and we'll be able to keep all our 50 states intact. So we keep Puerto Rico on the side as a backup state in case Texas does want to leave. All right. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, well, there's a serious discussion about chemtrailing all around the world. It's called geoengineering. Check it out, Meow TV. No, condensing vapor in high air, but this isn't high air. This is at 2,000 feet. These jets are not in high air. They're next to the lower atmosphere. I mean, this is not condensed vapor.
I mean, I have always thought it was condensed vapor.
I thought it too. For many years, my mother would talk about, David, have you heard about the contrails? I was listening to Art Bell, and I was saying, oh, Mom, really? Oh, yeah, tell me about the contrails. They used to call them contrails. That's what those condensed airstreams you're describing are called. Well, I'd talk like Ronald Reagan if you want. What kind of voice are you talking about? And why are you against our great nation? No, you know, cut it with the darky references. I did a parody video of Barack Obama because I was the one who actually is trying to wake up the American people back in 2008 to the failures of this lying, pathologically lying president. And I will defend that till the cows come home. You loved Ronald Reagan? Yeah, he had a lot of lovers. Were you in bed with him? I mean, I never thought he cheated on Nancy. I would never cheat on Nancy.
So what about exhaust from a car on a cold day? It kind of stays there for a little while.
I like black people. And there's nothing racist about doing an impersonation video of Barack Obama. Cold air, and I definitely see that in cold air, definitely. You got me hooked on the condensation.
If you were to be convinced that that was cold air up there, you would be convinced that it was condensate, that it was like vapor.
You know, I'd have to do a scientific study of that type of air to
all
determine
the air at that level is cold.
Okay, I will repeat this again. I have seen jets flying over my head at 2,000 feet, and there's never a contrail above my head. But today, no, I'm serious.
I don't.
But today, I'm serious. Today, I saw contrails, chemtrails all over the place.
Next time you see a plane at 2,000 feet without a contrail, let me know.
I'm on the mark. I'm spelling it out real close.
Because I always see them with contrails.
Well, you're not here during the day when we get daily flyovers 100 decibels.
Yeah, but those aren't at 2,000 feet. Those are at 200 feet.
I don't know what the... No, they seem pretty high up there. I've seen planes as high as the ones we... Let me just say this. I have seen planes as high as the planes we saw today releasing chemtrails at 2,000 feet. I have seen them above my house without any chemtrails or contrails. Let's be clear. We're going to have to do surgical strikes on every nation in the world in order to trigger World War III. It's a fact. We're going to have to step it up. David John Sponheim told me to do surgical strikes, and gosh darn it, I'm going to do them everywhere in the world. No, you're not right, Sarah. The fact is we need to do a scientific analysis of this situation in order to really fully understand whether these are contrails or chemtrails. I'm sure the jury is out right now still deciding, and the court of public opinion is still unsure as to what I'm talking about. No, I believe that I'm not a secessionist, and I ban any secessionists that come in the room. Anybody who thinks that I'm a blackface, a person who dislikes black people, is insane. I absolutely support integration. You Southern Democrats who come in here with your anti-black sentiments are calling me a racist because you are suffering from white guilt. Many of you are from Alabama. I'm here. You used to support many of the great politicians like Wallace. Supported that Southern Democrat. And now you come up to this area and call me a racist because I did a parody video of Barack Obama. That's right. You're the racists. Bunch of white guilt libtards. Thank you. I'm not profiling. I'm just saying there are a lot of Southern Democrats in Alabama. What are your thoughts on Hitler, David? I don't have any thoughts on Hitler. He's a piece of crap. Worst person that ever walked the face of the earth besides Joseph Stalin and Pol Pot. Well, let's be clear. I'll vote for you too. A vote for me is a vote for every president that preceded me, including Ronald Reagan. Why do you? I don't. I like black people. God, what is your problem, man? You keep coming in here, crapping in our room. I will ban you. You are the racist scum. And I'm allowed to do whatever I want in this country. This country literally was formed on freedom of speech. And you, commie, leftist, socialist, Barack Obama-tards come in here and harass me every night, calling me names, when all I did was do a parody of your despicable choice for a president. And you run around mouthing off the same people that brought you Obama, come in here and call me a racist every day. Well, I understand that's true, Cyborg. I knew a guy who went to Geneva and met a guy who claimed he was in the Hitler Youth and was fondled by Hitler. Hey, Concordia, hello. I haven't seen you in a while. Sarah's not getting a headache. Well, the Democrat and Union, it's a two-party system, evil. Well, love freedom, I'm sorry, but we're going to ban you because you don't even know what freedom is. Freedom is what freedom does. And if you don't exercise your freedom like I did, hang on, I got another one to get rid of. If you don't exercise your freedom like I did, you won't even know what freedom is. And frankly, a lot of you leftists, socialist Obama-tards are the reason our nation isn't free right now. See ya. We can't even question our president. You guys come in here and attack me. If I had appeared on Saturday Night Live, you would have gone, oh, that was pretty funny. Yeah. Look at the work of Steve Bridges. Thank you. Thank you, Pungent Odor. Look at the work of Steve Bridges. In 2010, Steve Bridges, the famous comedian who's done impersonations of George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, you name it. He's done great impersonations. Steve Bridges did a good one of a Barack Obama just 2 years after I did mine, and guess what?
They've done a piece about Steve Bridges as President Barack Obama.
Nobody said he was a racist, not one person. But guess what? Steve Bridges is now dead. Steve Bridges choked to death in 2012. His doctor said he had an allergic reaction. As somebody stuck something in his mouth and shut it. Thank you. Anyway, Steve Bridges was basically taken out. We don't know who killed Steve. We do not know, but I can tell you that this is pretty serious when our best comedians can't even make an impersonation of Barack Obama. Well, thank you, Shebang. I appreciate that. My next video will be even better. But this is a watershed moment for America. This past election, I have learned that the Democrats and Republicans cheat. They actually stole most of my signs. They cheated in the primary, literally. The cronies that are running our country are literally cheating to stay in power right now. No, Manny, I'm not scared they're going to do the same thing to me because I don't know how many people know this, but I am a sharpshooter and I'm fully armed. It'd be pretty hard to get within 50 feet of me without having a serious conflagration. Now, Joan Rivers didn't pack, okay? I don't need a security force. When you're a sharpshooter, you can pretty much take anybody out point blank at 50 feet. It's a mean BB gun I got. Yeah. Anyways, the guy that came up to me today and said, David, I didn't like what you said. It was very unpolitical or unprofessional. I actually said, you know, and this is something Obama would not do. I said, you know, his name was Mark. Mark, I agree with you. It was very inappropriate for me to tell you to F off when you said you didn't like my video. Seriously. I had a one-on-one moment with a guy who, and this is the only guy I've ever told to F off because I was at a very bad time. And I had literally been putting up signs all day long and been replacing them and literally at the brink of frustration, and somebody said, I don't like your video, and I told him to F off. But I told this guy today, he walked up to me, I said, hey, I really appreciate you coming up to me, and I truly, sincerely apologize. And he said, hey, but I like your Clint Eastwood video, I thought that was great. So, no, he was not black. Now, as a president, I wouldn't need 5,000 agents around me, and I wouldn't need, Sarah wouldn't need 26 servants if she were first lady. Michelle has 26 servants adorning him all day long, taking care of all of his adornments. So I can defend myself. Don't worry about me. David, you don't own a single gun? I do too. I have two guns. 2 BB guns. Well, yeah, Michelle. So he has, Michelle has, I think he has like 26 servants that care for him every day. You don't own a gun? You think that's funny, Sean? Have you ever been near something that can blow out about 20 BBs a minute? It could take a gerbil's head clean off. Michelle is a man. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Hey, do you want to play that little video of Joan Rivers, just for all of you to see? 2.5 weeks before she died. She doesn't choke, she said. I don't choke. And then she choked. And she said that Michelle was a dude. You want me to play the video for you? Does anybody want to see it?
No.
Okay, we'll just pass on that. David, can I ask in all honesty, why do you want to be president? It's a hazardous profession. Mountain Dave, Oprah Winfrey was asked once, did you ever know that you were going to be famous? And Oprah said she knew back in, like when she was in 5th grade, that she would be super famous. Well, that happened to me. The same Oprah moment happened to me. When I was 8 years old, I was asked, David, what do you want to do in your life? And I said, well, I want to be president, Mom. Yes, there's irrefutable proof. Thank you. I want to be president. But it was more like I knew what was coming. I knew that this nation would need a man with incredible intelligence, verve, and ability to respond spontaneously. Obviously, David Sponheim would be a perfect fit for that. And I am the person, I believe, who can orchestrate the rebuilding of our nation, bring it back to where it was 50 years ago. But we need to base our hopes and dreams not on fighting wars, which will weaken our nation, but rather building up our exports, our production of U.S. products. This is something that's seriously lacking right now under the two-party system. We need to build renewable energy, green, clean technologies that other countries will want. We need to prop up our dollar with equity, not force, not the threat of sweeping down and killing anybody who attacks the petrodollar. So far, it's working that we are the overall imperialistic hegemonic force around the world. We have become that in order to prop up our currency, but it's soon under attack from China and Russia. And they are moving rapidly to restructure a currency that they can both agree on. And if that happens, and it happens under Barack Obama's watch, we got a lot of problems to deal with. So we're going to have to get back to equity building for our nation and getting American jobs back on track. No, I don't need a license for a BB gun. But thanks for asking. I don't trust the guys in charge either, Man Mountain Dave. I hope I can be president. I realize it's a very dangerous job, and I also realize that I may be assassinated early in life. I could be president because I'm so aggressive. Of course. I am a person who gets things done. I'm an in-your-face, tell-it-like-it-is person. I will not stand there and kowtow to rich people and suck up to them like Barack Obama does. I will not have a corporate economy built on mega corporations and the printed money that we currently have. We will have a more down-to-earth, small business-based economy that will create real jobs. It's a Crosman. One of the most powerful BB guns in the world. Yeah. Yeah. Can you pull off a Putin and go around to corporations and tell them off? I'm not going to tell off corporations. I'm going to work diligently with the Justice Department to break up the monopolies that are forming in this country right now, like AT&T, like Google, like Facebook. These are the monopolies I'll be going after. But big corporations themselves are safe. I won't be hurting them. In fact, I want to have a better taxation system that we can encourage business investment in the United States. Right now, the taxes for foreign income for U.S. corporations are 34%. Nobody wants to actually do any business overseas and bring it home to America. Consequently, companies like McDonald's opened up a branch in Switzerland just to deal with all their money. Well, you want to see my BB gun right now? Are you BB gun focused? Or because I don't think that's appropriate. We're talking about an anti-war rally tonight. I'm not giving out Sponheim phones. I'm giving out Sponheim tablets. Forget the phones, man. That's old school. Oh yeah, you can get a tablet now for like less than $5. Shop around. If you want to see the gun, I'll show you the video. You want to see it? I'm not worried about assassination or the fear of being taken out for believing in what I do. All right, I'll play the video for you. I'm a person who has true courage, and I will do whatever it takes to help this country and put my life at risk. My father fought in World War II, unlike Barack Obama. He fought in 3 tours of duty. That's something I think you should be impressed with. Thank you, Ed. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play that video for you. He was a Sponheim, yeah. It just so happens that he risked his life in 3 tours of duty. Most of his buddies got killed in World War II. My father wasn't slated to come back alive. Most of them didn't come back. They came back in body bags. But I believe I'm fortunate enough to have lived 54 years and enjoyed the benefits of this great nation. And I've lived a good life. I realize that life can be relatively short. And I've already lived 5 years longer than my grandmother, who lived to be the age of 47 years old in North Dakota. Literally supporting 5 children during the Depression, breaking her back and dying of coronary artery disease, and literally dying at 47 years old. I've already lived 5 years longer, or 7 years longer, sorry. All right, I'm going to step out here. Actually, we can talk to people over here in the hangout. So how have you been doing?
Great. How are you
I was
doing?
wondering if you want to talk about my weaponry. I've got a lot of things.
And people in the Hangout can always watch this video on
YouTube.
youtube.com/ isn't it under David Spanheim
or anything.
Yeah.
channel?
So if somebody wants to cause trouble, they can easily.
Yeah.
do that.
No. Yeah. It's on the David John Sponheim YouTube site. YouTube.com/David John Sponheim.
Look at the Manson family. They went to the Sizzler and got steak knives. You gonna outlaw steak knives? I want to talk about the assault of the ban. You're saying it could affect everybody. Question is, do you feel like this Luger is an assault weapon? Well, it's not. It's a BB gun.
Isn't that utero?
It's right, rapid
I
fire.
think so.
I'll just take the
Another
answer.
person. Or you possibly think that this is the most powerful assault BB gun in the world. It's a Grossman. It'll shoot a gerbil's head off at 1,000 feet. But think about it. You want assault weapons banned so that you won't be safe and criminals can get your guns? Question is, do you feel lucky? Well, do ya, punk? Is it an assault weapon? When I put a little BB inside and safely pump it up? And then I take a shot at a gerbil. Oops. Okay. Well, is that unsafe? Are you to call that an assault weapon? The question is, criminals can get BB guns. They can get a lot worse. They can even get handguns and assault weapons. So why would you want to ban them? Think about it, America. The crime rates dropped 24% in 10 years with no major changes in gun control. The question is, do you want your rights taken away from you, the right to defend yourself against a tyrannical government, or for that matter, an intruder on your own property? There's no reason for gun control, and I believe that the current administration are a bunch of namby-pamby girly men who don't realize the power of an assault BB gun. When are you going to stop taking the rights of the American people away? Think about it. Go ahead and make my day.
Okay, that was the gun rights video. Hey, you know, I'm here to support your right to bear arms, your Second Amendment right. I'm here to support your privacy rights, your right to privacy, your Fourth Amendment rights, rights to due process. I support the rights to a speedy trial. I especially support freedom of speech. Engineered targeted drought in California. I knew somebody would do a video on that. Thanks for that, Aussie Music. I'll be looking at that very soon. Yeah, they're artificially engineering a drought catastrophe. The target is California. I said that about 4 months ago, and I think it's coming true. All right, cool. That was a great video, and that was a great cast, Roger. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. We've got it all happening tonight on our anti-war rally. So how do we turn this colder environment that Barack Obama has created, the colder war they're calling it, into something that can warm up a little bit? How do we reach out to Vladimir Putin and say the American people don't want to attack you?
The phone. I know that you're home. That's what he needs to do. Call Putin.
Call
and
Putin.
Talk to him. On
Putin
the
won't
phone.
take his calls.
Well, I don't believe that.
Religious, I'm going to ask you never to do that again. And please do not ever do that in public.
Never threaten.
Never threaten a president. It could be a 25-year prison sentence for you. The NSA is watching every show out there, and they have your IP address. No, I don't have baldness. In case you have noticed, I even left my hairline right here so you can see this isn't some sort of a wig.
Send him a telegram.
You guys keep accusing me of going bald, and it's like, How do you do that? How do you accuse a guy like me of going bald?
They're not saying you. They're saying if you were impersonating someone like Yul Brynner or Clint. Somebody that is bald.
Is Clint bald?
I don't think so. But they thought you were impersonating Yul Brynner. And so to impersonate someone that was bald, you'd have to look bald.
Okay, because I'm very sensitive about my hair because people keep saying, David, you're losing your hair. And I was like, well, not really. Hardly ever comes off in the comb. So if I'm losing it, it must be evaporating.
So now I'm thinking maybe you've misread what people were
saying. A lot of people care about my hairline. That's the problem, Incognito. You think that video is going to destroy me. You think supporting the rights to bear arms is going to destroy me. I got to tell you some statistics, and I told you in the show just now that 34% reduction in crime in cities like D.C. and Chicago when they allowed handguns. I don't look like Lenny from Laverne and Shirley.
Maybe the jacket looked like something Lenny would wear.
You know, that's not a video that I want promoted, so I'm going to ban you, David's bloated ego. Yeah. I just can't imagine why this guy keeps coming in here promoting this garbage about... I was having a moment of off-camera happiness, except I was on camera, and I was just adjusting my hair there. Grow a beard? I don't think beards are serious enough, Cyborg.
I like David without a beard.
Yeah, I don't really like facial hair. It reminds me of walking around with genitals in my mouth, you know. It's just disgusting. It's like pubic hair on your face. It's disgusting. Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay. You think Putin doesn't take his calls because even though Russia is somewhat primitive in technological sense, he has 90s ability to see the number that's calling before answering. We'll all be there. No, man, Mountain Dave. Putin is very angry at Barack Obama. No, I don't look like Doogie Howser 25 years later. I look like Doogie Howser right now. Let's take a picture of Doogie Howser. And you tell me if I don't look as good as he does. These are his current pictures. You're bold.
Yeah. He looks like he currently does.
Let's take a look.
I know, I agree with you, Mountain Dave.
Okay, now I look like Doogie Howser.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Now you're making Doogie Howser look like you.
Well, his face is a lot bigger, obviously. He suffers from large face disease. He does have a high forehead like me, though. Sign of intelligence. You'll notice that our brain pan is slightly larger than other people's. All right, let's move on. Large face disease, ha ha ha. Dave will host the Tony's Awards soon. Yes, hopefully. I hope they don't ask me to do the Emmys again. I hated that last time, where I had to pretend to be Ellen DeGenerate. God, that was weird. Is it really a pan? It really is. You want me to boo David Caruso now? Okay.
Okay, I can tell you how that fun. I'm going to go do some stuff.
All right. Could you make me a cup of coffee?
Well, yeah, sure.
Well, what I'm going to do is limit the amount of time Kardashians get. Once we sort them, we can limit their time on TV. I think everybody in America should have about as much time as the Kardashians get. That means everybody should have about 15 hours of fame. I can't even get 15 seconds of fame. David Caruso, let's see if he looks like me. Here's a pretty smug picture of him. I see what you say. I mean, the resemblance is definitely there. I mean, people have said David, are you Irish? You look like David Caruso. Isn't he Italian, though? He looks like a guy from Sicily. He looks like a Sicilian. All right, let's just drop this real quick. Okay, let's talk about why war keeps popping up when we already have nuclear weapons, mutually assured destruction. Why is it they keep talking about conventional wars? What's going on here? Dilla, what's wrong with you? The show's not about me, it's about you, Dilla. What's wrong with you? I don't keep comparing myself to other people. People ask me to compare. DT Laura asked me to compare. I did. It's no big deal. I've got a few minutes to talk about myself. I spend all my time talking about you. You. Constantly. And I take a moment to talk about myself. It's you, Mr. Anderson. It's the stench of humanity, Mr. Anderson. It's the smell. You want to talk about me? Let's talk about you, Gandalf. Yeah. Because I'm one of the more intelligent people around. Okay, Gandalf the Wizard, let's deal with your intelligence. Let's sort you out. Man Mountain Dave says I should do the talking with the face. Well, you're going to be waiting for the after show later. Hopefully, I'll be doing that later. I don't have time to do a little shtick with face talking. We got to deal with this incredible war that Barack Obama is trying to start with Syria. It's the smell, Mr. Anderson. It's the smell of people laughing. Okay, Gandalf, as long as you are talking about me, you aren't talking about dumb people. Let's talk about you. Mr. Kincaid from the Partridge Family. De Beers is in. Wow, nice try. You had a good run there for a while. I'm not blaming Obama for everything. I'm blaming the Republicans, too. You forgot the Republicans gave us George W. Bush. Yeah, you forgot about that. No, Obama's not cool. He's starting wars all over the place. He keeps thinking that we can export democracy. He supported that Arab Spring thing. Didn't work out too well for America. We got a lot of problems as a result of what happened with American Spring. Excuse me, did I say American Spring? I meant Arab Spring. He's implementing American Spring right now. Okay, take a look at what the henchmen of the Republican Party said. Lindsey Graham, one of the turncoat Republicans, same thing that Goebbels said. Hitler's propaganda minister said, you have nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide. And Lindsey Graham said, you have nothing to hide if you have nothing to fear. You see how our government is starting to mirror and seem very similar to the Nazi government? Thank you, Barack Obama, for bringing on a Nazi-like government. I don't use meth. I use math. It's a lot better for your nostrils. 1 + 1 = 2. I'm not paranoid. I'm just saying I don't make a big deal about that. Thank you. There's no paranoia here. It's just you got a very National Socialist president named Barack Obama. Yeah, it's hot. Like the way I like it. Very hot. So let's bring in a war picture. We're going to talk a little bit about Iraq. That thing that George Bush started, that war. Then we're going to take on another issue called Mexico. Yeah. We're going to have problems with Mexico coming up in 2017. I just want to give you guys a heads up in advance of my presidency. I already know in advance what we're going to be doing because I've seen the future. Let's go ahead and look at the ISIS map. This is the propaganda that's coming out of the CIA, claiming that ISIS wants to have this massive state. That's just BS. There's no verifiable proof that that's going on. And let's take a look at Iraq. Okay, we'll get our war maps lined up for everybody. We'll start talking about the War Department in a second. Yeah, so Texas is definitely an issue coming up. Jelly Roll, I can't build money out of nothing. I'm not going to go out and become like the problem. The problem is these people have money and they're buying your political structure. I need your vote. Your vote has more power to me than all the money in the world. Our platform is not based on conspiracy at all. In fact, if you look at the content of our platform, there's no mention of a conspiracy in it at all. We have a very solid, simple plan, common sense solutions for America's problems. I am smart, but I'm not going to be able to make billions of dollars by lying and stealing code like Mark Zuckerberg did. Are you Jewish? No, I am not Jewish. I am Catholic. I was raised baptized Catholic. I have no Jewish ancestry. I hear you, man. I don't like war either. But MTM, I don't think Obama's even remotely capable of doing anything other than trigger war. Oh, okay, Charlton Heston, Yul Brynner, thank you, mentor. Okay, you guys can check out that video. This war with ISIS will make Obama look like a national hero in the end of his term? Not at all, KY Poopy. What he's doing is he's preceding the war with Syria, which will be another war with Russia. He's created a vacuum power in Ukraine by creating an economic hit on Ukraine when the EU offered them $35 billion to leave Russia, triggering a revolution in Ukraine, which is now a power vacuum and could very well be a definite point of conflict between Russia and the United States. He's also spreading into an area that was formerly a satellite nation of Russia, Syria, which will trigger an air power war, which would bring us closer to the brink of World War III than we've ever been. So in any way, if you possibly think that Barack Obama is in any way helping, you are deluded and out of your mind. Like Joseph out of the Bible. Okay. Sorry, my friend, I had to speak with my wife. Okay, thank you. Sandwiches. We'll learn how to spell sandwiches, right? Then we'll talk about your intelligence. Yeah, well, the real problem we have in America is Mexico. Believe it or not, there are a lot of drug cartels in Mexico that want to penetrate the American border. Many of them have already found places in the United States to hide. See, many of these drug cartels are currently hiding down in Juarez. And there's talk that they've even created ISIS forces down in Juarez to attack the border with the U.S. Points at which they could enter the country. This is the real problem for the United States. Do you see Barack Obama doing that? No, he wants to actually make it easier for these people. You know that the amount of deportations has dropped to an all-time low? The level is at 2007 levels, before Obama took over. We don't deport these people anymore. So the non-Mexicans, or the other than Mexicans, OTMs, are coming into the country, and now Chuck Hagel's saying that they're ISIS forces. You like the Frito Bandito accent? Oh, he's good. My name is Pancho. I live on the rancho. Well, here, we're not going to talk about the reality that a lot of the trouble that is going to come over to the southern border is not being addressed, but instead we're fighting wars over in, where? It's supposed to be some sort of an attack by ISIS. This is Iraq. This is what we're trying to contain. For some reason, Barack Obama wanted to expand his war on terror to include Syria, which happens to be under the auspices of the Russian government. And now we're going to see a head-on conflict between the U.S. and Russia. How is this helping our nation move toward peace? Could any one of you explain, any of you Democrats, explain to me how Barack Obama is a peace-loving president when he literally wants to create wars around the world, triggering economic hits on countries like Ukraine, Syria, Yemen, Egypt, Libya? Did I miss any countries? Tunisia? Yeah. Dave, are you spreading false information? No, I'm not. Everything I'm saying is absolutely truth and verifiable. Okay, Topper Dan, what did you say about the Cuban Missile Crisis? You think the Cuban Missile Crisis is a little closer to World War III? No, I disagree. That's why they're calling it the Colder War. Believe it or not, Topper Dan, colder is colder than cold. So when they call it the Colder War, they really mean it's actually worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis, you nincompoop. Bravissimo. Thank you, David. Excellent. The Cuban Missile Crisis was salted with cigars. You're right, Sniper One. It was worked out in the back rooms with Robert F. Kennedy and a cigar deal. I heard about that. You know, I'm not here to talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis. You brought that up. We're here to talk about the Ukrainian crisis today, which is getting closer and closer to a tinder keg of potential problems. That's right. Well, we're being forced into another war simply by Obama's incompetence. If you believe that Putin intends to bring back the USSR, you're probably right to a certain degree. And if you think that we've got a threat from China, you're probably wrong. China has got too many problems with their own people. They've got 1.3 billion people that they can't even manage. They've got an environmental crisis, and they've got a drought happening that's going to kill their nation. They're in serious trouble. So China doesn't have the time to focus on attacking our country, yet our country has a plan right now called Pivot to China. That's one of the things that's going on here. We're bringing in 4,000 new people into our base. A lot more jets are coming in here to attack or position themselves on defense against China. Not likely they need more land. What they need is solving their problem, their environmental crisis. Water is going to be their biggest problem very soon. No, I disagree. You haven't been in the back rooms. You know that in 2007, George Bush had a conflict with China that went into a missile exchange, and the media never covered it? Yes, China has already done a lot of hacking in our military. Absolutely. A lot of our contracted agents for the military have already been hacked by Chinese computers. I'm not saying China isn't a threat. I'm saying China isn't the threat you think they are. Well, Russia is very much against the wall here. If you look at Russia from Vladimir Putin's position, and you're right, Goldoff, about his desire to restore what he thought was a great nation, USSR, he thought. They are very clever, and they're trying to replicate our military. But Gandalf, they only have 2, if not 1.5 aircraft carriers. They've only got 2 nuclear subs. We've got, what, 6 aircraft carriers? We just retired one, the USS Forrestal. We've got over 60 high-level nuclear subs that we know of, not to mention our Trident class, which has the ability to destroy the world 50 times over. So with all this incredible nuclear strike force, why would we be running around starting conventional wars? And the answer is, they need to cover a mistake they made. The mistake is, they can't print up any more money. They need to get some reason to expand credit. So a war is the only thing they've got now. Yeah, well, I'm sure if I wore a beard, you'd be happy, and it might help your masturbatory fantasies, Meow TV, but I don't think it's appropriate for a president to wear a beard like that. Sven, I got rid of Rodney a few minutes ago. You want me to get rid of you too? It's one of your many characters. Well, at this point, Mentor Mazumba, aircraft carriers are potentially a problem for F-18s. They usually pull back a little bit whenever they face a problem. The real problem is Obama's not the cool, hip black guy we were expecting to fix problems globally. He wasn't the Jamaican president we all thought he might be. Instead, he was a bit too much politically aware American and too much of a sympathizer. We need a cool guy in charge. We got a politically informed, nice, intelligent black man. The world needs a president with an opinion. I agree with you there, Man Mountain. You said a mouthful there. No, they are not getting consumer demand. The consumer spending has dropped significantly this past quarter, triggering a concern about growth in America. Remember, the growth rate in America was supposed to be close to 3%, and it topped out at 1.1%. We've got a lot of problems. There is no recovery. What they're doing is called a recover up, and it's not working. So the prospect and the position of a war is all they've got. Remember, the Federal Reserve cannot drop interest rates any lower than 0%. So they have no tool. It's like a railway going down the road, and there's no brakes because obviously the brakes wore out a long time ago. So they can't put brakes on the economy. And we're headed toward a definite crash. The question is, how are they going to handle the crash? And the best way they can think of is to divert your attention from the crash and focus on a war. This is classic. It's been done time and time again throughout history. Privatization is about becoming a cash cow, yeah. America, like NASA, shouldn't privatize. NASA should make a return on investment. We actually wrote a book you can get on our website. It's called Hybrid Capitalism. And it's a book about an alternative way of helping our economy get a return on investment, where the government actually competes in the free market with no unfair advantage, and actually creates products like carpet-like solar panels that can go on every house in America for under $1 a watt. It creates solutions to the housing crisis by offering the Homestead Renewal Plan, a way to pick up all those foreclosed houses at a discount and flip them for the United States government, and you, the taxpayer, gets a return on that money that we earn. We are headed toward a crash. It's terrible. They have held a crash back by printing money. This is like the house losing money in Vegas and just printing up money left and right from their own credit, imaginary credit supply, their money tree, funding all these mortgage-backed securities to the tune of $85 billion, and now it's down to $65 billion a month. Janet Yellen and the Federal Reserve has their fingers so deep in this credit market that they don't know how to get them out. I mean, they literally can print up money anytime they want because they don't have any debt. Their expanded debt is in their mind. The people that are suffering from the $20 trillion that the Federal Reserve has handed out over the past 10 years are the people like you and I, who see our dollar as buying less at the store. You see, when they keep printing up money, it dilutes the money. It's like taking a glass of Kool-Aid and taking this glass and putting it in a 40-gallon tank and serving Kool-Aid to people. People say, yeah, this water has a kind of strange flavor to it. What is it? It's definitely water. So, no, it's Kool-Aid, man. No, it's water. So our money is being watered down. That's what inflation is. And we're the ones suffering from the excesses of the Federal Reserve, not the Federal Reserve. They'll walk. They'll just say, oh, we're out of here. Bye. They're going to want to leave in 2017. I'm pretty sure. The fact is, they did all that in 2007, and then we led to the subprime mortgage debacle, and now they stopped loaning money out to anybody. So it's stifled the economy, but what they do, they're not loaning money out to Americans who want to buy a house. They're giving the money to all these mortgage-backed security holders at the rate of $65 billion a month. There's no vodka here. I don't drink. Well, you can see a Tyrannosaurus skeleton if you want. We're looking at a rock here, and what I'm going to show you is a very simple plan I have to create a railway system from Basra to Baghdad that will be guarded and defended by a dual fence with a wide perimeter and laser sightings and the ability to stop any intruding RPGs that come their way. This railway system could be constructed in about, I would say, 6 weeks. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers can work with the Iraqi government and the Iraqi Army to construct this, and we can have this line in the sand turned into it's not nonsense. This is the only way that Baghdad's ever going to make any money. It's the only way we're going to get paid from Baghdad. There's no other way. They owe us big time. $1.5 trillion they owe us. And they haven't paid 1 penny toward that. You know that George W. Bush put $38 billion on a rail car, sent it right into Baghdad, and it never, ever arrived? $38 billion. You know what the cost to rebuild America's bridges and infrastructure would be, a projected cost? $24 billion. So in their infinite wisdom, they'd rather give 20 or 38 billion to somebody who stole the money in Iraq than 24 billion to help our nation rebuild its infrastructure. You see how screwed up our priorities are? Yeah, we could put balloons on trains. That's not a bad idea, mentor. Not at all, Topper Dan. Our economy doesn't provide us everything we want. We're not sitting selling penny stocks in some dingy, what do they call those, sweat camps, where a bunch of hacks like you go in there and say, hey, I got a really hot stock for you. We're not all here to like borrow money from the future to pay for the today. We're not borrowing from tomorrow to pay for today. Your mentality does that. Many of us survive by living below our means. You don't have that problem because you're living in a fool's paradise where you literally bought the lie and now you're trying to cream off the top of the lie. You're trying to make money on this enlarged, credit expanded economy. What you are is a bottom dweller scavenger, no different than any other scumbag who's looking for a cheap profit. He's an obvious tool. Topper Dan is he's not only is he an interloper here, but he's an obvious tool. I'm sure you guys made a lot of money in penny stocks, but you might as well be selling property on Uranus. I mean, who's going to buy property on Uranus? I mean, they'll buy property on the moon or Mars, but never Uranus. Yeah, he's a total leftist. Look at Topper Dan, I don't need a job. I've got plenty of cash, okay? You are a total tool. You are the poster child of the mediocrity of the Democratic Party. You are the kind of person that just buys every piece of garbage that they give you, and worse than that, you're probably some sort of a Jewish money broker on the stocks. That's what I'm guessing. You seem to be all about money. Yeah. I'm not an atheist, but he is. Topper Dan, this economy is in trouble. You just can't see it. I see it. I see homeless people popping up all over the place. I am watching buildings that have been empty for about 5 years remain empty. I'm seeing startup loans being given to municipalities and banks. Like I noticed the Key Bank branch opening up everywhere in my area. And I found out that the CEO of Key Bank is also on the Board of Governors for the Federal Reserve in New York. And he got a $40 billion loan. And guess what his interest rate was? 0.34%. He got a $40 billion loan and he only has to pay 0.34%. So when you're looking at growth in America, you're looking at borrowed money, not the kind of money that you need to earn and build. You haven't earned a single real dollar in your life, Topper Dan. You're a scavenger that's living on the foolishness of people to buy into your stocks. Well, I'd like to be superhuman, but I'm not. Incognito, the homelessness problem is getting worse. In 2006, there were 1.6 million homeless. Now, there are 3.9 million homeless. And you think homelessness is not a problem. Well, you really are out of it. Incognito, you have to do a reality check. Why don't you live on the street for a while and know what it's like? Craig, I'm afraid you've got a lot of problems. First of all, you need to see a proctologist. Then you need to see a psychiatrist. And then you need to see a massage therapist. Not necessarily in that order. I lived on the street, yes. I made a vow of poverty. That's why listening to some greedy pig like Topper Dan coming in here talking about all the money he has and all the money he's making and all this garbage, and they're printing money and giving it to scumbag pigs like him on Wall Street. Thank you, Nightmare. I have to say, my vow of poverty stands a hell of a lot more important in my mind than some grueling little bottom dweller like you, Topper Dan. The homelessness problem is really, really messed up. I love America, Core. It's commies like you that are ruining my love for this country. You commie leftist Democrat Obama-tards are basically the problem with this nation right now. You don't even know what this nation stands for. You don't even understand freedom of speech. You want to come in here and call me a racist. And I've never said a racial slur in my life, ever. Oh, I've been called honky and cracker and whitey and mayo boy, but I have never, ever said a racial slur in my life. So you want to reduce this great nation and my citizenship and my political voice to the simple comment, you're a racist. I will not shut up. I'm just getting started. Incognito, what are you, playing statistical judo here? Yes, the population's growing. Yes, people are homeless, but not at that alarming rate of 3.9 million people now homeless in America. You know that Barack Obama has never mentioned the homeless problem once? Topper Dan, Ronald Reagan actually went out of his way to do what is called Greyhound therapy. So if you think that he booted them on the streets, that's not true. He bought them Greyhound bus tickets. That was 1967. I was in California at the time. I tracked the news. I was 7 years old. David has proposed an alternative system in place and deserves some credit for it. Thank you, Man Mountain Dave. I have presented a system that will be executed through the executive branch. I'm not underestimating any of your intelligences. I'm asking you to think through this in a coherent way that is meeting the standards of deductive and inductive reasoning. I'm asking you to do a little bit of deep thinking here, to look at the final outcome. No? Well, he defunded the mental health system in California, I know that, and around the country, but in no way did it rob the mental health system of any solid, serious solutions. You got to understand, our mental health system is a snake pit, a glorified snake pit to this day. You can throw all the money in the world at it, you won't stop the abuse that's going on. Let them loose, that's right, let me loose. Let me do what I have to do. Give me the power and authority to help this nation, and I will do everything that is necessary to get rid of the large government of $150,000 paychecks. We've got 77,000 people in America making 150 grand or more. I'll begin to introduce pension plan reforms that will restructure the federal pension plan to bring it down to about $36,000 per person, as opposed to what it's at right now, which is untenable and unsustainable. Hey, how you doing, Smoke Break? Yeah, and you live in Ireland, and Obamacare sounds like a scam. It is. It's a way in which big corporations like Humana, Blue Cross, Primera, Cigna, they all make a lot more money. It was all a scam by those big corporations to convince this Democrat, Barack Obama, to force insurance upon the American people, and you know it hasn't worked. The only people that really signed up to Obamacare, since the website is like still hobbling, are the people that are on Medicaid and Medicare. Cora, is that all you got, man? I mean, literally. You're functioning on like a subpar intelligence level if you have to resort to sex and feces jokes. Wow. That's just so sad. Yes, I can, Incognito. I actually have a plan to create a large number of temporary living facilities called tent cities around the nation. They will have full support. They'll have showers that work with recycled water. We're also going to have washer and dryers on board these units. These will be semis. They'll have showers on them, washer and dryer section. They'll have portable toilets. We're going to have everything you could possibly demand, even a Wi-Fi charging station, in order for people who are homeless to get a life. They'll even have mailboxes. No, there's going to be a security guard at each tent city location, an armed security guard. It'll not be, look, it's better than allowing people to just live under underpasses, you imbeciles. I thought you Democrats cared about homeless people, but Obama has not mentioned homelessness once in 6 years. Thank you. Whatever. Wi-Fi hubs and recharging stations. I combine the words. It's simple malapropism. Just deal with it. The security guard will start chopping crack to them. Oh, Frosty, you're living in a real bitter, cynical world, aren't you? where everybody who's homeless is a crack addict and a malt liquor abuser. And you don't care a bit about them, do you? Wi-Fi should be free. Thanks, taking care of Man Mountain Dave. Appreciate it. I will fight for what I believe. That's all you got? I got chunks of guys like you in my stools. I will give them jobs, absolutely. You know that Mayor Bloomberg tried something a couple of years ago in New York when he was mayor, in which he actually employed homeless people to pick up garbage on the streets in the morning. Seriously, and he gave them cash. It's a good plan, and it might work. Thank you, Highland Media. You got my vote, my wife's vote, and anyone I can try to unbrainwash for years to come. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to do everything we can to make this country better. As an average American, I totally relate to what's happening in the American social scene. I've traveled this nation 50 times by car. I've gone across this nation 50 times, 25 times times 2, because I had to go back and forth. And I've seen a lot of this nation, and I can tell you that we can help cities like Detroit. Our Homestead Renewal Plan will help cities like Detroit, and we will also provide an opportunity for people in the inner cities to get jobs so they won't be prone to violence, gang violence. I have a 6-week to 6-month training program I'm going to be implementing in our community colleges that will provide people certification that will get them a job paying $20 to $25 an hour. Within 6 weeks to 6 months, you can earn that. I believe the government is responsible for creating jobs. I do, unlike Barack Obama. And I'm not a screaming liberal. I'm a person who's pragmatic and who believes that this country can actually, truly generate growth and opportunity for its people. We cannot sit back and allow these money mongers to sit on their money and create liquidity traps, stalling our growth and the prospect of growth in this nation. There's people sitting around just on billions of dollars, and they think they need more money because guess what? The value of the dollar is shrinking. I know how to pay for everything I talked about. I didn't see your question, incognito. Scanning. 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 Everything I talk about, like the homeless solutions, are going to be funded with donation money, not your tax dollars. Seriously. There are enough people out there. Look at the Gates Foundation wants to give $50 million to stop Ebola. What, by making people in Liberia more comfortable while they're dying? So if Gates Foundation can give $50 million to dying people in Ebola-stricken Liberia, why is it we cannot give $50 million to creating mobile centers for showers and mailboxes and washers and dryers? Now these things can be on an 18-wheeler. They can be built at the same time we build our mobile medical units. And I can use any kind of donation money to make that happen while I take Veterans Administration money to build the mobile medical units. I put a lot of thought into this, okay? We're not going to sit there and wait for Congress to approve this before I proceed. I will hit the ground running in 2017. All my ideas that are of that nature can be implemented out of the executive branch. Yeah, donations, sure. I'm sure there are many charitable benefactors out there, philanthropists, that would give money to the mobile medical, not the mobile medical, but the mobile homeless solution that I'm talking about. Less thin and patchy. Well, thanks, man. It helps to have a good conditioner.
One of the things is we can also use HUD funding that's currently going to Section 8 housing, and also there's also home and health and.
There's lots of funding out there, and a lot of people who are benefactors and donators who like the GIVE program that many of those people are involved in. Multi-billionaires are willing to fund something that will help homeless. You just have to connect the dots.
Thank you, Highland. Yeah.
Hybrid capitalism will help connect the dots between donations and people that need it. And I agree. I'd like to see a major tax reform in this country, but it needs bipartisan or tripartisan support. Incognito, I don't think we need to worry about people who don't care about the homeless to contribute. We can still make this happen. Frosty World says, finally, the voice of reason is back. Thank you.
Yes, we do have a cat. We have one pet and a cat named Amber.
I own my own house. I live off my savings, of which I saved enough to survive my whole life without having to worry about money.
I didn't say I'm going to take away their Section 8. I said I was going to alter the way Section 8 is for new people.
Sarah is not a hologram. She's not a robot. She is real. Can you not see?
Well, that's very cool, Incognito.
Our cat is clearly a Republican.
So what do you think, Incognito? You think that if people actually owned a house, it's a government-owned housing or a homeless advocate organization owned housing, that they could do a better job of providing housing for the people?
Yeah, possible.
Felix?
Take a look at this chart about ALS. A lot of those programs like United Way, 85% of all United Way money goes to the administrative costs. Look at this ALS bucket challenge. Only 27% actually went to ALS victims and the research funds. Isn't that amazing? You know, that's why I'm not doing the ice bucket challenge. Plus, it's bad for my health.
You could turn off the phone if you want.
You mean turn it off, like take calls?
Yeah.
Okay, phone is available.
Okay, go ahead and try to call in. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go feed the fish.
Oh, never mind. Don't call in because I don't answer the phone.
I'll be taking calls. The fish will be answering the phone. I'll be right back.
Okay, your fish feed you. I'm sorry, Big Dipper, True Polaris, but if you're able to type, you're going to have to feed yourself.
Oh my God, it's dark already. I can't feed the fish.
Oh.
It's too late. They're going to have to starve tonight. They can eat algae.
You're going to start having to feed them in the morning.
Yeah, it's getting dark too early.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, Big Dipper to Polaris. Yeah, thank you, David.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're going to come back in then?
In just a bit.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to open the window. That's why I'm getting hot.
Oh, yeah, because before they were burning something and I couldn't breathe. So
Yeah, they're burning a resin chair.
Close the window, so thank you for that.
They like to burn resin chairs in our area.
You're cooking a Sunday roast. Nice. Well, that's what we live for, to make your day. Go ahead and make my day. True, if we force companies to have jobs that only in America. True. Things would get expensive because, it's basically because Americans don't want to work for low money, but part of the reason they don't want to work for low money is because that housing costs so much. So it's a big do loop. That's why I focus on housing, because really when it gets down to it, housing can be taken care of with the correct resources, which is land, lumber, and labor. The 3 L's for housing. Land, lumber, and labor.
I like that.
I just created a new what's up? Those.
That's great.
Yeah, or yeah, you know how they always say not catchphrase, but they like soundbite.
It's an alliteration soundbite.
Oh yes. The 3 L's for saving housing.
A little bit of love. You got to put a little love into it. You know, the nice thing about a homestead renewal plan is it creates pride and ownership.
And love, exactly.
And love, you know.
Soundbite. Slogan.
Slogan. But creating pride and home ownership will prevent things like the projects from happening.
Mentor Mozamba and you thought of love at the exact same time.
Wow. We're like totally gelling, you know, like channeling or something, you know. That's like way cool.
I don't know if you'd pay $1,000 for an iPhone trip to the universe. Slogan Sarah. You need $40,000 a year. I don't even make $40,000 a year. Oh, based on average salary, Social Security, insurance, benefits, yes, 40 per hour is what the average hour of American labor costs the system. Isn't that crazy? But it's true. I know. The companies care about profit, not how cheap they can sell it. They don't, yeah, they you know, when it comes to it, what people are seen as, when it comes to many corporations, is we're seen as just a number, and we're not really appreciated. We're either seen as, if we're, you know, working for the corporation, we are seen as, how much can you produce for me in the least amount of time? X, you know, X equals. And then if we're on the consumer end, it's like, how much will you, what's the highest amount you will pay for, you know, for this product, another dollar amount. So we're just seen as like numbers, not as people. And I'm glad that, you know, David and Makomba both talked about love, because really we have to get back to the fact that we're people, and we have to get back into the idea of relationships. It's all about relationships, building relationships with each other. Oh, that's good, Sven Hyman. Hyman. I don't know if we should all work for, maybe we should. If you want to work for Uncle Sam, that's fine. You don't need to come here to do that, Dan. Yeah, I don't think so, Casey. I think it's true, though, that we're all seen as a number, Casey, and I want to see you as a person. So tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your favorite color? How are you feeling right now? I know, you never see Rodney and David in the same room together. That's so true. And that's what, you know, everything, interactions in the grocery store or in any store, and, you know, as a consumer and a seller, it should be about the relationship. And then also, worker and owner of a business, it should be about building relationships. It's been proven that there's been studies done that people that feel that they're appreciated at work, they actually are more productive, so they produce more, and because they feel appreciated. And, you know, the same can be true of consumers. If you think about it, people sometimes shop at a place that they feel welcome in, and they'll even be willing to spend a little bit more money because of how they feel. Incognito, you want my honest feelings about the running for president?
We're not giving homes to the gunless. We're helping people earn homes, building equity, sweat equity. If they work in the program, they will actually qualify for a house. Okay, thank you. Okay. You know, this is a bannable offense, Topper Dan, and again, you are bordering on stalking. That's a warning. To continue, stop this fantasy romance you have with Sarah.
I mean, there's plenty of ladies on the internet that are single and available and would welcome your things. I'm not one of them.
And she's got a guy already. It was a disgusting fantasy.
You're the best guy.
Thank you.
Hi, Amber.
And we have a very good life. And I'm not here to brag. I'm not here to complain. I'm here to talk about all the great things that we got going on.
Oh, David's. That's her tail. Amber, Amber, you're so silly. Okay, let's see if
that
I
was
can
a
get
great
this
cam.
one.
That's the other cam.
I know.
No, the other one's next to you.
This one, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't have anybody holding it.
Oh, it doesn't. Should I could
You
add
can
it.
activate it. Yeah.
Add.
All right. Yeah, keep your no comments to yourself and cauterize them in your brain.
That's serious.
This is the camber cane.
Well, let me see
It
if
goes
I
around the back.
okay.
You have to go migrate around the back.
Got it. Got it. That's me. And that is Amber.
Here, I'll hold that for you.
I got it.
I got it. You can.
I got it. Let's see how.
That's our kitty cat, everybody. You notice she's still alive? We had trolls threatening to kill her the other day. Can you imagine coming into our room and threatening to kill our cat? Really? I didn't know. How did he know the size of mine? Is gaming journalism corrupt? You hate cats? Why do you hate cats? Either cat. It's a good-looking pussy. How do you know that? Does Amber have a boyfriend? It's hard
Yes,
time.
David.
I'm her boyfriend. Trolls are disgusting. I know they wanted to kill our cat, and as you can see, she's doing great. And look at how her back goes up when I touch it. See this? Cats love their back of their body. You know, right in here, petted. It just goes right up like that. See that? They love. That's the most tender part in a cat's nervous exoskeleton.
Yeah, well, Amber was in a tough situation.
It's the other way around, Core. I've got 3/4 supporters, 1/4 people like you. Mentor, your fantasizing is not helping matters. You own a cat? So what are you saying? I'm renting a cat? You know, I understand they use cat poo to create some of the most expensive coffee in the world.
Well, it's not that they use the cat poo. It's that the cats eat the coffee.
Yeah.
And then
Extricate it.
yes,
Excrete it.
and then they take out the beans.
Kotaku.com sponsors? I don't know. Dr. Herm, I don't even know. I've never even been there. They put cat poo in the freeze-dried product to bulk it up?
What kinds of things were on your test? Okay, really? Oh, I'm glad you didn't get the job.
Yeah, we're glad you're not working for us,
Man.
fortunately. Yeah, anybody who would not, who said the cat would be really unfriendly here. Well, Gandalf, I think you saw her in a fantasy of yours. You know, and she's not my wife. Sarah and I are not married. But don't tell that to Topper Dan because he's got a constant desire to be with Sarah. You are married? Good. You're a married man. Why is that important to you? Do you think marriage defines you? Does it make it real for you?
Well, he's just responding to what you said, David.
I know. I'm just messing with him.
So don't say, oh, look what he said, because it's a response to what you said.
Well, it turns out you're an unempathetic bottom dweller, scavenger. What else is new? I didn't need a psychological review of you, Topper Dan, to know where you're coming from. Yeah, Republicans don't really have a cutting-edge message, Dr. Herm. That's why we're carrying the banner for personal freedom and the right to bear arms, because we really want to bring Republicans in. But we're both mostly fiscal conservatives, whereas the Democrats are more tax and spend. They want to just keep taxing you and spending out recklessly and creating a massive bureaucracy. Yeah, you're about as empathetic as Heinrich Himmler.
Turn the first I into an E.
My glasses are unclear to your gossamer superficiality. Yeah, so anyway, Amber loves you. And again, Sven, a.k.a. Rodney, please keep your messages to a minimum. The sexual innuendo factor is not political. It's not relevant. Well, I don't have socialist policies. I have policies no different than, in many ways, populists. Like Ed Harris, 1976, great populist Democrat. I strongly recommend you read about him. Ed Harris was one of the most up-and-coming populists in this country. Never got a chance, never got a fair shake. There are a lot of people that have come out with populist, egalitarian concepts and have been falsely accused of being socialist. Our plan is not to make a bigger government. Our plan is to make a more efficient government and make it run within the scope of our economy, not whacked out like the Democrats want to just. You know that the Washington state budget in 6 years has gone, the debt has gone from 16 billion to 90 billion. And now in California, the debt went from 26 billion to 542 billion right now. I'll repeat, in 6 years, the debt in California went from 26 billion to 542 billion. That's an unbelievable amount of spending. Both California and Washington state are classic examples of public union-dominated states. These Democrats are engaged in what I call bankrupting our country, sabotaging our economy. No, and I don't think the Democrats and Republicans can ever work as one. They need a team leader, a third-party bipartisan supporter.
I think they do work as one to keep third parties off the ballot. Yeah,
there's a definite conspiracy against third parties by two parties, but they need somebody to be an arbiter, and a third party would be a good solution. A tripartisan government is what I envision for this nation. Let's not play deal or no deal, and why don't you go back to bed or hit the crack pipe again, because it's not working for you, Rodney, or whatever, whoever you are. Well, everyone, I want to bring up the issue of the spread of Ebola, because I think it could be a critical issue in the coming months ahead. Now, we are, under this President Obama, we are allowing Africans of any country, any origin, to arrive in America without any screening. You realize how insane that is? With over 2,500 people now dead from Ebola and probably hundreds of thousands infected, we have a critical pandemic on our hands here. And our president hasn't even taken the lead in limiting flights from Liberia or any country afflicted with Ebola victims. So you've got a too little too late president, a person who's putting us $1 short in every area. I mean, even this plan to do surgical strikes in Syria, this half-cocked plan, in no way is getting Republican support for financial backing. I know. Smithfield Food is now owned, 25% of the nation's pork is owned by a Chinese company. Thank you for bringing that in, Maureen. Yeah, good point. I remember when that went down a few months ago. Well, I don't think it's smart to bring Ebola victims into our country for studies at the CDC. Whatever that means. Topper Dan, you're landing like a lead balloon here. Your chat is becoming more and more irrelevant. I'm going to purge you. This is very much, it is a Paisley pattern, and it originated, I believe, in India, or possibly, no, I think it was Indian. It was a Hindu pattern, if I'm not mistaken. It dates back to 1898, the Paisley pattern. The chance the Ebola virus could become airborne increases, more people get infected. Good point, Sulan.
The call did not go through. Do you have the phone?
Oh, I left it in the toilet. Let me finish flushing. Yeah, we're ready to go. Our phone is available. Operator standing by. Well, you know the Chinese government owns half of General Motors, Shanghai. Shanghai General Motors owns more than half. Actually, after Barack Obama sold the remaining 31% shares of General Motors at an open bidding process, the Chinese have bought more and more GM stock. The bailout of $55 billion to General Motors actually went more to China. Thanks, Highland. I don't believe the Protocols of Zion are true documents. But if that's what you're saying, Obama is definitely their puppet to destroy America. I'll align with that thought. We can't get into public access TV. We have yet to break the barrier. Do you want to make phone calls for us and ask if they want to have me on their show? Why don't you make the phone calls to the public TV stations? Sarah, we have a link to public television stations that we've called in the past. Can you give him the link? Get busy, Topper Dad. If you want me to talk to public television, you're going to have to crack that wall of voodoo. We've already tried. Well, if you believe the protocols are real, that you believe the protocols are real, because apparently Bill Cooper found it in a trash can outside of a Xerox machine. Not exactly a source you can rely on.
Right. I did not mean to click that.
Sven, that was disgusting. We have never been to a website like that, and you put it in right in the room when we clicked on. That was a shocker. I think I saw a nanosecond of nudity. Hi, Bree. Hello. How's the first-year resident? I think you're a first-year resident now. Yeah. We got a doctor in the room, everybody. We're called ATP.
America's Third Party Life, the link that I just put up there.
Check the link out that I just put up there, or Sarah did, called Talk Radio, Topper Dan, and try to get us into public radio stations to start with. I'd like to interview with Diane Reams.
Oh, he's no longer a resident.
Oh, you finished your residency. Okay, now you get to make some real bucks. Whatever that means. Diane Reams is a lovely radio personality. She comes on about 11:30 at night, and she sounds like this. Hello, I'm Diane Reams of NPR Radio. Hi, Diane. I'd like to talk about my political career as an average white guy running for Congress. Well, David, I don't know what you mean by that. Well, I think it's hilarious that somebody that old and that whatever can keep a job. National Public Radio is more like an institution that hires old people that are so uncreative that they literally are gentrifying in their seat. All right. Apparently none of you have ever seen Diane Reams or heard from her, so it wasn't even funny. Hey, it's me, Awesome Carl. Okay.
He did run. He came in third in the top two.
The two prospects against who I was running for, they're still running. I ran. And I was unfortunately pushed to third position. I needed about 3,000 more votes, and I would have been in top two position if I had it. But my competitors stole most of my signs. And we made like 5-foot signs, Sarah and I did, 5 of them. She does sound just like that, Mentor. Good night, Sunstar.
Good job, Gandalf. Go for it.
Anyway, that's true, Sniper. Yes. Yeah, mind-controlled libtards or Obama-tards. True. Well, I had more signs. I printed up 75 more, and we were still unable to get them out there faster than they could steal from. And we've got a campaign running right now, a write-in campaign, and I'm running a campaign against Larson, Rick Larson. In fact, today I put up more signs as we were out and about. We're going to be pushing signs all over the place for people to write my name in for U.S. Congress. I'm not sitting around, everybody. I'm trying my hardest to wake these people up, but they literally are cheating to hold on to their power. Crapola. You know, believe me, signs are really important in a campaign. And when your competitors steal your signs, in some areas that's considered, I know in Romania that's considered a crime, and you can go to prison for that. Sven, that's just not even funny. I'm going to purge you again. You got to dig a little deeper, Sven. Well, sure. Let me bring him in. Hang on. I'll be right there. I've got a pee to show.
That would be pretty cool, Gandalf. Are you going to implement those countermeasures when you post signs? You said you want to run for office.
Okay, I'll give you guys a heads up. If you go to my website, davidsponheim.com, you can actually see how to print one of these signs up. This sign right here is my scaled down sign. You can print up for only 33 cents at Office Depot or Office Max. You can go to the site, download it, and print it up for 33 cents. I put it on the back of cardboard, and I put plastic tape around it. This sign, I get out there, literally, for 33 cents. And today I made an alteration. But let me just bring up the other sign. I took my old signs, the ones that I retrieved, the extra 70 that I had printed up, and I repackaged them as write-in signs for the U.S. Congress, independent. And my website, davidsponheim.com. These are small signs, but if you put them on corners, and I call these places pinch points where people slow down to a stop sign, I'm putting them as far and as wide as I can right now. And then I've got these big signs that go up, and I put a few of these up today. And the guy I'm running against in this particular race is Larson. And I'm asking people to stop Larson, write in David Sponheim, save nature. Because Larson's a big military supporter who wants to literally turn our entire area into a carpet bombing zone. The environmental impact statement suggests that 27 million marine mammals will die over the next 5 years. And he wants to continue the Navy practices, that's right, pinch points. There's no spelling mistake. God, what an idiot. Spelling mistake. Spelling mistake. And then I want to do this. All these black and white signs, that's politically correct for me to say black and white signs. Well, these, I printed up a bunch of these today, and I'm adding these toppers right here, and I'm taping these on. So it'll read like this. Stop Larson, write in David Sponheim. So all these will have, and they'll know who Larson is because that's exactly the person I'm running against in my write-in campaign. I didn't give up. When they smeared me in the media and they went ahead and stole most of my signs in the primary, I decided to retool a campaign against Larson. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm glad I could make it real for all of you so that you know that I am in there swinging and trying to create a third party as much as I can. I'm not here to stand around and pretend like I live in a free and democratic nation. If you test your freedom and your democracy, you will find out that you are not in a free and democratic nation. Far from it. First of all, they want to take away our right to free speech. They want to call me a racist for simply parodying the president. It's crazy. And then they want to take away our privacy. The NSA revealing that they are watching 100 million emails a year, keeping track of everybody for 18 months at a time. I love America, but what I see in America right now from you commie liberals core is you're trying to simply subtract everything that makes this country great. And I'm not going to let you do it. I'm going to stand up to what you're trying to do to this great nation. And I'm the guy who can do it, too.
We believe in the Second Amendment.
Now, you may have the illusion of freedom, but if you see these Democrats push for gun control, you know that they're trying to take away your Second Amendment rights. They are. Systematically trying to create a police state and disarm the people, much like Stalin did in Russia. It's the most important right we have, Gandalf. And there's no way you could possibly compare our freedom to our security. Because frankly, our security is second to our freedom. Our freedom is first. Our security comes second. We're always living in an insecure world. We're always going to have terrorists. There have been terrorists for over 2,000 years. All right.
I thought you said you weren't going to call here anymore, buddy.
I'm just going to let everybody know that the Mayweather fight is on live. So
Jesus Christ. A person like this doesn't even have any clue as to how screwed he is.
You should hook up with somebody else that likes boxing.
Well, I mean, when you live your life off prostitutes and cheap coke, you know, what can you possibly get in life, you know?
He doesn't call anymore. He told me he wasn't going to call. I know. Did you win a cruise? All right. That's a good idea. Mowing David into the grass, the green outside the town hall. That's an idea. Yeah. I've got even bigger signs coming. I've got a whole bunch of large foam core signs I'm making. Write in David Sponheim. I'm only doing this to spike the race, basically change the dynamic, because with them thinking they can control the election by stealing most of my signs, and them thinking they can push their military, pro-military stance to fight more wars and build up more military hardware for Lockheed Martin and Boeing. It's creating a world that will never be at peace. We're not seeing any real peacemakers in America. We're seeing these people who are saber-rattling warmongers like Barack Obama, or John Kerry, or John McCain. The two parties have become irrelevant to the future of peace. They are now taking us on a road to ruin, where we as a nation will lose track of what really matters. Our people. Bring our troops home. We need to get back to those core values if we want this nation back, and it's going to take you, the voters, to decide who can articulate that the best. Who can bring better ideas to this country than these two parties have so far? These are the things that we're trying to push in our nightly show. We're trying to do this. I'm not wasting my time. We're just getting started, Mr. Man. It's just the beginning. Well, 5 signs. Did I say 5? I meant 500 signs. I'm showing you a sampling of a massive printing that I'm doing all the way to November. You think I'm kidding? I'll do whatever it takes to push for a third party in this nation and take down these corrupt pigs who think they can dominate using cheating as their method. I don't put anything up in or around corporate structures. I follow all public property rights. I meet and comply with election law. I'll do 5,000 signs, but 500 is about all I can afford. We got a death threat. No, it's called right here. All right. Yep. Yeah, we just had to get rid of the room there. Yeah, we understand there are people out there that don't realize these are felonies they're committing online, and most of their IPs will be hauled out of the records, and they will be prosecuted. I don't need to call the police. They're too busy eating donuts right now. We have met and complied with all FEC law. We have not met our threshold to file an IRS form at this point. We have not had many donations.
I let them know that I'm a...
We've let them know who we are. They, of course, know that, but we have not met a threshold for filing.
527. And I do enter all information to the FEC.
Well, if you want to, Highland Media, if you want to possibly leave the Democratic Party, that would be real great.
Well,
if you come to that
he's going to wait till he wins, and
okay.
he's going to go
Thank you. Well, win as a Democrat and then decide what to do at that point. And believe me, we are not here to beg for donations. I hardly even bring them up.
The only reason I post the donation link is because somebody asked you to take donations.
Yeah. Well, even if you don't win, especially if you don't win, we welcome you into our party. And we'll even put a website out there.
On signs, I hope you win.
Did he spend a lot?
Yeah.
Like $2 grand?
More.
You're serious, really?
That's what he said.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm making these signs. I'm not kidding. You may want to try kind of a grassroots guerrilla campaign like this. Literally, 33 cents a piece. You could print these up right now at OfficeMax. I just printed a bunch of them up. I mean, what's the cost? 33 cents a piece. $1.80 for 20 of them. I mean,
Topper Dan, in 10 minutes, you can do that.
Excuse me, $6 for 20 of them.
You paid a local company. You paid a local company?
Yeah. See, that's the problem. They go through advertisements. You guys can do this yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I kept my costs for my primary, my personal cost at about $600, and we had to pull a little bit of our common funds to deal with the stolen signs because I had to print up more signs. So we pulled some of the committee to elect David John Sponheim for president funds in order to do this because this is part of my promotion. And we are going to probably pull a little bit more just to cover the sign costs right now. But $600 was my end of it to apply for the. I had to pay $420 to the state of Washington because they charge this ridiculous poll tax to get onto the ballot, which I think is illegal. But I paid them that, and then a little $150 extra of my money, and then we got a donation from one of our viewers, our supporters here. And it was a sizable donation. It met and complied with the $500 maximum amount that we can receive in order to meet all the reporting requirements of the Disclosure Commission. Public Disclosure Commission, we maxed out with one $500 donation, and I bought TV ads with it. I bought close to, gosh, it was unbelievable. 418 TV ads for under $500. Local cable TV ads. And I'm thinking of running another campaign on the write-in on TV. I am, seriously, because I didn't get a chance to tell anybody in the area through any media form, because the newspaper won't cover this story anymore. I know what a poll tax is. It sounds like a poll tax, and they charge entrance into Washington state elections. Yes, that's exactly what a poll tax is, loosely defined. Well, the fact is, nobody wanted to cover me. Even Cairo News came to my house, did a 10-minute interview with me, and they wouldn't even talk about anything publicly. They would never show that interview. So I did everything I could to get exposure, but it wasn't even shown. There was no story for them. They wanted me to sound like a racist, and I'm not a racist. They wanted my neighbor to call me names, and he didn't. He said, I support your freedom of speech. I support David's freedom of speech. Cairo News did not cover it. Mr. Big, we're not here to support Ron Paul. Thank you, though. Pretty soon we'll be pushing Rand Paul ads for president. Well, crapola, everything I've said, I've telegraphed. I told you medium and large-sized corporations are safe with me. I'm worried about monopolies forming. I'll do everything I can as a protectionist president to protect American industry. My background is a lovely, beautiful place out in the middle of nowhere. It's just depictive of the incredible amounts of cold relations going on in the world. So I bring you ATP, everybody, America's Third Party. Welcome to our show. We've got 15 more minutes left. We'd like to talk about any questions you haven't had a chance to field.
We are supporting David John Sponheim and Highland Media, and that's the only candidates we support at this time.
Highland Media had something very close to what happened to us. His brother ran for U.S. Congress, people who donated from companies that were against everything he stood for. Yeah. You can have a debate right now, but there's no debate that I know of between a third-party candidate and two parties.
I can tell you something he did wrong. In the last election in 2008, there was an organization that he neither supported nor endorsed, nor didn't give support to, but if he had simply given support to it, he could have been on the ballot as a third-party candidate. That's Ron Paul. That's why I don't support him. Yeah, why not? I don't know why Obama doesn't have a channel on Vaughn. I hope not, Richard, but Einstein, but you might be right.
I saw one of the most violent movies I've ever seen last night. It's called Old Boy with Josh Brolin. I don't know if any of you have seen this movie, Old Boy. Maybe you have.
Hello, Ola.
Whoopi Goldberg, really? I don't believe you. Yeah, it's called Old Boy. Yeah, have you seen it? Crapola? It's one of the best, most violent movies I've ever seen. I'm not a violent person. I'm dedicated to nonviolence all my life. But I enjoy watching, fight scenes because I've studied martial arts. I know very little about the Bilderberg Group. They're a private, secret organization that meet mostly among world leaders and people who are at the top of their field. There's a secret group within the Bilderberg Group called the Venetians. And the Venetian royalty have kind of a silent hand in almost everything that goes on there. Very secret and very powerful. That's probably where the Illuminati exists. That's all I know.
We're not that much different, except I would say we're not that
There's
much
no
different.
farmers in the group at the Bilderbergs.
Mr. Biggie.
For instance, the CEO of Fiat is the founder of the Bilderberg Group. In 1957, I believe he started it. And they essentially have so much power that they negotiated a cashless deal for Chrysler. And Obama pushed it. He was installed as dictator. That's right. Thanks, Richard. And as a dictator, he basically pushed the sale of fiat, the purchase of Chrysler by fiat, with no cash over the barrelhead. It went down with no cash. A company like Chrysler that did so much for America was just thrown under the bus by Barack Obama. So we know that the Illuminati, Eastern European and Venetian Illuminati, has control over decisions like this. Fiat currency, that's kind of funny, Mentor. Well, Google is free because it's owned by the government. They should have called it a Google, because the government basically financed Google's production, creation, and dominance throughout the past 10 years. Most of it is purchased through shell corporations like In-Q-Tel. But DARPA has total control over the social infrastructure of our networks. And they have the ability to watch, and literally it's a bonanza of information for them. Everything you do is being watched through the Google and Facebook network. Facebook is simply an offshoot of Google. Google purchased over 50% ownership of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg still controls 54% of the boardroom control. But Google itself is pretty much the underwriter of Facebook. Basically, you've got two large monopolies working as a secret venue for the NSA. Well, frankly, I'm going to reduce fuel taxes, Charlie. I appreciate you mentioning that. The fact is, I want to introduce a product called Hempoline into production. And I want to offer truckers an alternative fuel, and I want to develop an environmental solution to the energy crisis that we're going to be facing. There's a process that I propose called natural fracking, which is a little bit safer than the dangerous benzene that they use currently in fracking operations. We want to increase, already production of oil has increased 12% in the past year in America. So obviously we need to get cheaper fuel out there for the truck drivers. But the best way to do that, I think, is to produce an alternative green fuel called Hempoline. And Hempoline is at the center of our legalization plan, in which we provide a backbone of lower cost fuel for our truckers, big rig diesel drivers. Now you will be given 3 free fuel filter changes in this program. Believe me, macroeconomics have failed, Copper Dan. We cannot continue to expand credit. I tried to explain that to you earlier. That's right, THC can be a bigger crop than corn. That's right, there's no need for an energy crisis, Gandalf. Tesla proved that. Good point. Well, you know, energy, like oil, should be something that the Department of Energy should oversee. And they don't. It's seen as a commodity. Oil is still seen as a commodity, even though it's very much a resource. Now, we need to get our country to define oil as a resource, get all the oil futures trading companies to trade transparently with all their books open to the public, and we will see a drop in the price of gas by at least $1 to $2 a gallon. Experts have proven. They've already testified in front of Senate subcommittee hearings. Energy experts have said that if trading in the oil futures market was done openly, we would drop the price of gas and diesel by about $2 a gallon. Get down to the production value of the oil, about $50 a gallon. $50 a barrel, sorry. So the goal is to actually get the government to do something without getting bigger, to actually maybe amalgamate all of the state taxes, state fuel taxes, into one federal tax, and then dole back to the states on a per capita basis how much they deserve. California, obviously a very populated state, would get more money from the overall fuel tax than, say, Delaware. But we would be able to apportion the state taxes this way, and we would level the playing field for prices. So there would still be price comparisons and competition, but there would be a cap on the price of oil and gas. It wouldn't just keep going up like it currently does. Less collusion among the oil companies. Believe me, dropping the price of gas does solve the problem. I disagree. experts have said that a $4.25 per gallon cost is unsustainable in America. That our country will begin dysfunctioning because people drive to work, commute, and at $4.25 a gallon, it's literally going to turn our nation into a poorhouse, a bankrupt people, barely able to survive to get to work. So yeah, it is an important issue. The price of gas is everything. But you don't notice the two parties even talking about this issue. You rarely ever see them broaching the divide and talking about the oil companies. Hi, Hugh. I'm not going to cap things to create shortages. I'm actually increasing supply. You don't create shortages when you increase supply, Topper. You need to take some econ. Econ 101 I would recommend. You're so far off the map, it's unbelievable. It's like you've got a 10th grade education in high school, and you act like you're some economic genius. It's pathetic. You don't understand those fundamental economic You're here to crap all over this room. You're out of here, man. God. Well, we are going to increase supply. I told you that. Oil production is up 12% right now. I don't dislike all fracking. I dislike fracking that is dangerous to the environment. I'm a pragmatist. Well, we haven't built a new refinery in 45 years, David Inas. Yeah. All our refineries in America actually are antiquated. But that's not really the issue. There's plenty of refineries in America to refine any oil that we produce. Our reliance on foreign oil has led to price fluctuations that have, I think the oil companies have colluded to manipulate, to force the price and edge the price up constantly. How many people in here are filling up their tank for $50 and driving three days on that tank? You can't sustain that. Hempoline is a product combined with hemp that's been melted down, and there's ethyl alcohol that goes in it. You know, Free the Weed, I have not been able to put a...
Maybe you're talking about our America's Third Party site. We have that.
We have it on. We have it on America's Third Party. We don't have it on Vaughn. Can we put a donation button on Vaughn? I don't know. That would be a nice move. You pay $140 a tank for 3 days. MTM land. What are you driving? A Suburban or a Hummer? Wow, 107 euro. You guys are getting hit hard. I drive a car that gets 60 miles per gallon. For me, a fill-up is like $27. And I go and go and go. So I went in, I bought this car about 7 years ago because I knew that we'd be running into high prices. I live a very sustainable life. I couldn't afford to live like you're living. It's similar to that, but what it is it's a product, Hempoline is a product that can run in diesel trucks that tend to run so clean that it breaks all the carbon loose in the combustion portion of the diesel engine, and it goes through your filter. So it actually cleans your engine and makes it get more performance. Hempoline will actually clog some filters, though. That's one of the problems with Hempoline. So if you convert to the green version of our gas, which will be a Hempoline-based product, which should be $1 less a gallon, I drive a Honda Insight 2000. And I just bought a brand new battery pack. Got a great deal on it, and it's got 30% more performance than the old ones that they used to put in these battery packs. And we were going down the road today, and we were actually feeling it. It's kicking in. I mean, this car is really amazing with the new battery pack. It took 14 years for my battery pack to finally need to be replaced. Hi, Boink. Thanks for coming in, man. Yeah, Fecaline isn't really that good. You know, making fuel out of cat feces, I wouldn't really waste your time. You get 26 miles per gallon, it's diesel? Okay, Sniper. Yeah, there's some pedal cars. I got one right now if you want to see it. Bless you. Bless you. You're shopping for a gas guzzler? Okay.
You have to leave your name, Roger.
Roger that.
When you call us.
Yeah, got this little car somewhere around here. I'm looking for it. It's a little pedal punch. It's the Elf.
Dave, what did the new battery for the Insight cost?
I got an amazing deal. I got a battery for $1,945. Here's the ELF, made by the Organic Transit Company.
This is the Organic Transit ELF version 1.5 with a really cool paint job. And it's sort of a cross between a bicycle, an electric bike, and actually a recumbent trike. And almost like a light electric vehicle that's ready to haul stuff around for you, protect you from the sun, protect you from the elements, which we might experience here shortly.
All right, so yeah, I can add that to our list or something if you want. I'll be working on a video list tonight. Well, Roger, we've been listening. I get this guy named Jeezy. You want to call one more time? I'll take your call. You just say you're Gigi.
Roger. Maybe.
Roger would be nice, yeah. Nobody's calling you Bobby. I'm calling you Bobby, but nobody's calling you Bobby. Bobby. Yeah, operator's standing by. Hey, we're not going to be taking calls anymore tonight because our show is ending.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I have the Hindenburg disaster for you on cue.
I know.
It was 1945.
The ill-fated Hindenburg on her last flight sails over New York.
1937.
These pictures, made from a Cathay news plane less than 4 hours before the tragedy, show the world's largest airship heading for Lakehurst, New Jersey. Over Newark's famous little skyway, the airship was hailed by thousands who little dreamed it was that final glimpse of the Hindenburg.
And now I bring you
Inside
the blimp plane. An amazing new innovation which we'll be talking about this week, which I believe could very well revolutionize air travel, making it a lot more affordable. Most of the energy that goes into a plane's lift is the cost of the fuel. Hello. Hey, Bish. Wow. Why is it all you guys come in at the very end of our show?
It's a conspiracy to keep you on longer.
Really?
Doesn't work on me, though.
I know. That's cool. So yeah, we'll be doing some stuff here. Let me line up the videos for everybody, and we can talk to you guys about what's happening. It's a cool idea, isn't it? Anyway, I'll talk about that on Thursday. But it'll take, no, not 20 hours. It'll take, I believe, 10 hours, going 300 miles an hour. I'm going to pull forward. Okay. Yes, Boink, what can I do for you? Any questions? You're going to leave the show? Why? Do you feel neglected? Well, I do want to chat, but I don't, care to chat forever. I can only dedicate. David, do you know for a fact the Illuminati blew up the Hindenburg? That's pretty insane. Spectre doesn't like the blimp plane. Add the PayPal link to your profile. I know, man. Okay, I'll add the PayPal link to the profile. Thanks for suggesting that, Free the Weed. The wings from Costco and Oven were great. We reviewed a few scenes that we should work on for our next job. It was fun night. Was here with Barlow. Okay, you're still promoting a third party among your friends at the adult film industry? Yeah, those jeans were really nice. We bought them last year. Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be sometime in 2014. March 2015 sounds a little bit weird. I'm hearing a lot of delays from Richard Branson. Yeah, we're not really sure if he's not fleecing the government with his. He got $4.6 million from NASA officials, your tax dollars, so that they could take a maiden voyage on his Virgin Galactic. That sounds like a sex act. Hey, I missed your call. Sorry. Take a maiden voyage on the Virgin Galactic. I mean, that sounds like some sort of an interstellar acid trip. This tie? Are you kidding me, Casey? This is a Huntington. It's a $125 tie. It's a Paisley issue. I went conservative today because today's Sunday. Excuse me, Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday. Wanted to support one of his scenes, though, Candy. What do you mean by support a scene? I don't know what you're talking about. I endorse objectification of women and exploitation of sex in order to sell money, and it's crazy. What do you mean support? You're being exploited, man. I'm not going to go to Etsy to buy a new tie. If you guys want to send me a tie, would you like my P.O. box? I mean, I'll check it for RFID chips and video cameras. Forget it. Don't bother sending me anything in the mail. I'd have to have it screened at Leighton Langley. It's not, I didn't buy this tie. I got it for free from some homophobic, bi-curious freak that I used to know. God. Can you do some voiceovers for us, Dave? What would you like me to do, Hugh? Jazz? Well, I support a solid industry that's dedicated to safe sex. Boink, you know that I've always supported the Rubber Up Project. Well, let's be clear. Most people who are homophobic are bi-curious.
Send a voicemail. Press 2.
Let's just take this call from Drew from Malibu. Drew, what's going on, man? Do you like score some really good stuff, dude?
Oh, hey, discount. What time does the show start, you douchebag?
You know, I don't like those terms. That objectifies women. And the show started a long time ago when you were sent back to the abortion clinic. Anything substantive to talk about, dude, bro? You know, like, you said you weren't going to call her anymore, dude.
Well, technically the show ended at midnight, brah. And I just want to congratulate Floyd Money Mayweather for knocking that stick.
Dude, we don't like, you know, any racial slurs on our show. You know that.
Yeah, you do, brah. Why don't you do some stick face sometime, brah?
Dude, we don't do that stuff, period. Hey, the number to call in is 707-UR-ATP. That's Y-O-U-R-ATP, brah. But I'm not taking any calls tonight except for the last call, and just to find out where you're coming from, Rodney, because you're not a man of your word. You said you'd never call back here. Unreal. He keeps coming back. He's like the creeping crud of Rodney. No, it's like your ATP. That's 707, your ATP. Operator standing by. Or dial 1-800-555-1212. Okay, just give the number. I don't want to give you the number. You got to think. Otherwise, it's no fun. It's like a game. You like to look at the little keypad and match the numbers with the letters. And you can use it. Try yourself. Fish, you never called here once. Why are you angry at me? I've done nothing to you. I don't even drink vodka. By the way, I saw a bottle of vodka at the store. It's got this skull. Have you seen that? Have you seen this? It's like a skull, a glass bottle. Well, it's on sale right now for $40. You think I should get that just for a collector's item? In case I get some like burned out meth head who wants me to, you know, do something, I'd say, hey, take this. Oh, okay. It's for Skull and Bone members. Oh, I don't want it then. Have you seen it? Do you drink that? Do you like save the bottle? Pretty cool bottles, I gotta admit. I mean, the marketing is mind-blowing. 404-504, or call be deleted. Operator standing by. United Puerto Rican, hello. Do you want to be a state in the Union? Or do you want to keep your own country? What is it you want? Oh, is there a Bruce Willis vodka? I didn't know that. It's Crystal Skull vodka. Yeah, Ashy. Yeah, I'd never seen it before, and it was on sale for $40 from $65, and I was thinking, well, maybe I should, you know, think of Bish here. You stole it from a meth head. Whoa. Wow, that sounds pretty intense. All right, anything else you want to talk about besides vodka, meth heads, and stealing? I'm not autistic. I have no record of mental illness whatsoever. I have never seen Barlow's work, Boink. I don't watch porn. God. You're wondering how I enjoy the pleasures of life. Well, have you ever seen Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition? Yeah, go ahead. Really? Vicious.
Accept press 1.
We've got Bish on the phone, finally. Okay, Bish is calling in. Here we go. Mentor, I'm not trying to talk to anybody on this show. I'm giving you a few more minutes, man. Hey, I don't even need to do this show. You can go back to the Hindenburg. Oh, yeah. It was 1937. The Hindenburg. The crash of a lifetime. What you're about to see is a third-party edition.
Hindenburg on her last flight sails over New York. These pictures, made from a Cathay News plane less than 4 hours before the tragedy, show the world's largest airship heading for Lakehurst, New Jersey. Over Newark's famous little skyway, the airship was hailed by thousands who little dreamed it was their final glimpse of the Hindenburg. Inside the silver envelope are 16 separate gas bags, each filled with hydrogen, a highly inflammable gas.
Many of these gas bags resembled Rodney. We're Drew from Malibu. How you doing? All right, thank you. Gas bags, prepare. Enlighten me. We're here live. Roger Dodger. Oh yes, Roger. How are you?
Hello?
Hello, Roger.
Hello?
Hello, Roger. Roger.
Hi, hello?
Roger, you're not coming in too clearly. I can't hear you too well. I'm sorry, did you say you're having sex with a dog?
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you too well, Roger. It sounds disgusting. Oh, God. Go ahead. That's a good call. Did you just call me Bish? Don't be calling me. You want to call me? Go ahead. Roger can't hear you. He's eating crumpets in his toaster. Okay, I don't even know what I'm doing. Is this Dr. Mark Stone? I don't even know who that is. Drew, Dr. Drew, I'm feeling that you need to work on your language skills, mostly. Boink says, David, can I get approval for one scene? 37, it's the max for a male. Would you do it? No, Boink. No. I don't do stuff like that. Okay, does anybody have any wrap-up questions before we go to the Hindenburg? I'm going to set up the video loop for all of us tonight, so I can sit here and watch it with you. And we can watch the videos together. Even Bagel Face will like it. No, you don't want to post a porn link. I'm sure we all know where to get porn. God knows there's enough Ashkenazi free porn out there. Hey, Bagel. Well, Boink, there's nothing wrong with that kind of scene. I don't do it, no. Well, I don't know if I'm going to stay with you all night long. I mean, please don't promote hamster.com. I prefer gerbils. Go ahead. Yes, continue. You are on the air. Well, make no mistake about it. We're going to have to use surgical strikes everywhere in the world in order to create more disharmony and trigger World War III. We'll work diligently to stop the imaginary fear of terror and continue air raids against every other nation to make sure that they know who's boss, even though I'm a homosexual Muslim. Well, I don't know where they go with you. That's your thing, man. I'm just talking about the gerbil industry. Well, let's be clear. It won't be easy. We're going to try to create enemies all around the world. Yes. Wow, this is a rare moment. Another call from Rodney, the guy who said he would never call again. We could have danced all night. We could have danced all night. Hello, Rodney. How are you?
Hey, it's me, Rodney.
Have you seen that movie, Old Boy?
I just wanted to let you know that I got your email, and I'm going to have to refuse your request. I'm no longer going to be coming to your show no matter how much you offer.
No, we didn't ask you to come into the show, Rodney. You're the one who keeps dragging yourself in here because you're desperate for the ratings, dude. You are riding on my coattails. You're not helping me. God.
You can't even afford a coat, let's be honest.
Wow. You're not helping, man. You're hurting. Okay, I will do nothing to stop the forming of ISIS terrorist state spanning in America. Is that what you're saying Obama said? Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Gandalf. That's pretty good. I'm saying that. Thank you for saying that. You're saying that. Thank you, Gandalf. You synopsized exactly what Obama's doing. Thank you so much. Well put, Gandalf. I appreciate your presence here. I really do. We need people of your intelligence and stature in our show. People that understand the inner dynamics of what's happening with this creation of war when we don't need it. This should be like a love-in. We should have like an endless anti-war rally tonight, don't you think? I feel the love here. I do. I never had sexual relations with anybody. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Do I believe that President Bush was a good communicator? That's like saying, do I believe that Barney Fife was a good detective? Well, gee, Sarge. I mean, no. No. Bush was not a good communicator. He stumbled everywhere he turned. I'm a shoo-in for the White House? Tell that to all the people calling me a racist. Yeah, just saying. We're going to have to convert all those Democrats in their mind that want to look at me as a real person. No. Boink, say no to everything you're saying. And I'm gonna purge you, Boink. Thank you. Okay, that was Gomer Pyle. My mistake. Barney Fife was not talking to Andy. Gomer Pyle was talking to Sarge. Well, golly, Sarge. Well, golly, Sarge. Maybe you can get a crumpet in the Medica. I certainly cannot. You buy some sort of white-flowered, pathetic hardtack in America. You rarely have the chance to eat a crumpet. You know, I have no idea. You've got to find good places to buy your bakery goods. I'm not stupid. I have 185 IQ, Casey. Rodney, stop soliciting Bish in the room. Use private IMs, thank you. I agree, Redbox. I've always assumed that the Southern Democrats, who are all the racists, you know that the Democrats almost prevented the Civil Rights Act from passing? Do you realize that? Dingleberry Manilow. I'm sorry, but you have never met a person with my intelligence. I'm just saying. Well, yeah. You missed it, Bish. You missed it all. Rodney asked you to Skype him. Well, excuse me. Like Foghorn Leghorn. Well, excuse me. 1860 Democrats were conservative. Or I'm talking about the Civil Rights Act, cake fart. Yeah, passed by a Republican-led Congress. The Democrats don't want you to know that. I'm not a big supporter of Republicans, mind you. I was a Democrat for 30 years. I agree, Redbox. I totally do. People are strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. It's 15 minutes too long. Okay, I better get out of the show. You're right. I'm welcoming my welcome wagon here. Well, Albert Einstein had an IQ of 185, I believe. 184. Gandalf wants me to listen to this. Okay. Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, dude. We're rocking now. I'm afraid I have to interrupt that song due to the Digital Copyright Millennium Act's allowance of only 24 seconds. What I'm going to do is watch some Netflix or some Amazon Prime. We don't do cable TV. We're saving money. We're buying like an annual pay. I guess it's video on demand. Pretty cool, huh? Well, let's be clear. So tonight, I'm 1 point higher than Einstein. Let me just point this out. Do you think Einstein was the most intelligent guy in the world to create a theory of relativity that led to the production of nuclear weapons that will destroy mankind? I mean, I have to ask, did he think that through at all? Bish, are you using sexual harassment against some homosexual man here? You want to show a little bit more discretion when referring to men of homosexuality or women of homosexuality? Well, he wasn't eccentric, but so eccentric that he created a theory of relativity that literally led to the production of a weapon that will destroy mankind 50 times over. I think you're stretching things if you think he started the Hindenburg. No, that was Isaac Newton, Bobby. You should know that. It's English history. All right. I'm just setting up a rundown of movies that I can play you guys. Well, there you have it. Atheists tend to not be the smartest tack on the block. You know, I've never met a person who promoted themselves more than atheists, you know. This is Robert Oppenheimer, the guy who created the nuclear weapon.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
I had a chance to be touched by that guy. Well, he touched me before he did that piece right there. Actually, my mother used to work at United Space Technologies, and he actually touched my mother's belly. She was the only woman on staff there among about 25 nuclear scientists. And I was being born, and she was carrying me full term. And Robert Oppenheimer was visiting the facility at the time, and he actually asked to touch my mother, and he put his hands on her belly in order to feel me. No, I was inside of her womb. No, he literally put his hands on the outside of it and felt. So I actually have a certain affinity for that poor old bastard. He was actually threatened by the military-industrial complex to continue his work on the Manhattan Project. Otherwise, he would be, his family would be hurt. That's what the story, how the story goes. No, I was not his rape baby. My mother and father begot me. They were married. But my mother was one of the only women in the space industry at the time, and she was there right in the middle of this whole thing. I've got a fantastic picture of her that I'm going to put in my book. Working in the Manhattan Project, or similar. It was actually United Space Technologies. They developed the Saturn, Gemini, and Apollo program. My mother did a lot of the text on that as an executive secretary. I know PR Met fan. It doesn't really matter, though. We've chosen this venue because the blogosphere is the only place we have. Oh, this book is going to be ripe with good stories. You're going to be blown away when it comes out. I've got story after story that you've never heard about going into the book. So it's going to be worth the investment when I produce it. It is true free speech, and the blogosphere is the last bastion of free speech and the free press. Because in the real world, in the mainstream media, there's only about 35 bobbleheads that come up every day talking like they are the voice box of America. Clearly they are not. I don't know what you're talking about, Cake Fart. I always use protection. Many of you are not American, but we are doing a show dedicated to politics, and we field questions from all around the world to discuss America's directive and where we're headed. I don't mind doing this on a nightly basis because this is what we do. We take tomorrow off, though. It's a day of rest. Yeah, go ahead. What's your concern? Hi. Can I help you? Yes, can I help you? Oh, I didn't go to your restaurant last night. Thank you, though. Yeah. What do you have? What exactly? What was that? Yeah, right, Rodney. You're pretty good, buddy. Hey, you know, hey, why don't you get a real life instead of calling our show? It'd be so much better. And then you could actually maybe have kids. Are you ever planning on having little children? Little Rodneys?
Not running around all day, brother. I just got in, passed the bag, no one's calling the fuck with you.
I hear you, buddy. Well, thanks for your masculine sound there, buddy. It really helps out to have another deep-speaking voice on the show. All right, take it easy.
Are you gonna tell everybody about the drugs you left in our restaurant last night?
I wasn't in your restaurant last night, man. It was a total cover story.
Sure, I mean,
No, we were elsewhere. We never, you know, you think we would identify where we'd be, man? There are idiot chatters in here. I know, Sandy, and I appreciate your input because it's time to end the show. Mentor Mazumba said I got to end the show. Somebody said, David, get off the line. Oh my gosh, we've got another beheading, Rodney.
David,
Yes.
David, where's Sarah at right now?
Wouldn't you like to know? Well, let's get back to the Hindenburg. One of the worst disasters in world history.
From the ground, you can see the forward control cabin from which the ship is operated. The windows along the side indicate the location of the passengers' quarters, in which many were carried to a flaming death. Approaching Lakers, the Hindenburg appeared a conquering giant of the sky, but she proved a puny plaything in the mighty grip of fate. It almost seemed as if fate had set the stage for the horrible tragedy. A graceful craft sailing serenely to her doom. For 3 hours, the dirigible circled the landing field at Lakehurst, New Jersey, dumping more water ballast than ever before in vain efforts to level off. Again, she dumps ballast, and a nervous tension grips those who are watching, for this is something unusual. There goes more ballast, but the tail is settling in spite of all that has been done. A grim note of impending tragedy. Finally, the landing lines are dropped. These scenes were filmed by Pathé News cameraman William Dean, and you're about to see the pictures he got when the ship exploded. Those aboard leaping for life from a flaming inferno, the actual crash of the Hindenburg, an airship destroyed in less than half a minute. Rushing to the rescue, the heroes of the tragedy dash in, heedless of danger, to help the injured to safety, while others, beyond help, perish in the flames.
This is the Organic Transit Elf version 1.5 with a really cool paint job. And it's sort of a cross between a bicycle, an electric bike, and actually a recumbent trike. And almost like a light electric vehicle that's ready to haul stuff around for you, protect you from the sun, protect you from the elements, which we might experience here shortly. It's got these nice strings to keep you dry. It's just a really interesting and provocative human transporter that just solves a lot of, I don't know, problems. With, you know, it addresses these opportunities where people might want to get around in a way that's affordable, that's environmentally friendly, exposes you to the community, and would mean that you don't need, you know, a license or insurance because this technically qualifies as a bicycle. So let me get into the specs. Standard on these is a 3-speed SRAM internally geared rear hub, but this one actually has a new Vinci hub, which is a continuously variable transmission, meaning you don't, it's not like first gear, second gear, it's smooth, so you have a whole range, and that means you can keep a cadence, a proper cadence that feels comfortable no matter what speed you're going at. So that's cool. And that's done on that left grip there. On the right grip, we've got a thumb throttle, and this activates this hub motor, but it's not actually in a hub. It's sort of a center drive. They mounted it in the middle of the bike, sort of right here. It pulls a chain, sort of stays out of the way, and experiences less trauma when you go over bumps and stuff. And that chain pulls on this side of the wheel. So there's the human-powered side. There's the electric side. And it's neat. Both of them freewheel, so you're not experiencing a lot of drag. This one has an upgraded Avid 200mm disc brake in the rear, as well as nice disc brakes in the front. And then you go inside. It's also got these nice wheel covers, which sort of, they make the bike more visible, right? It's more substantial when you look at it from the side versus the versions that just have spokes. So that's kind of cool, and maybe a little bit of aerodynamic efficiency. But as you'll see here, there's no door, and I think you can get them, but it's designed to sort of sheet water away, not get you too wet inside. But by having it open like this, you can hear a little bit better, and the crosswinds aren't going to, you know, kind of shake you around, because these are pretty light. It's like about 150 pounds depending on the options, and you know, plus you. And I think the cargo capacity is about 350 pounds. So let's get into that. Let's talk about what you can haul with this. This is how you open the trunk. Goes up here in Velcros, which is pretty cool. Just kind of stuff that in there, and then kind of lift this cover. Look at that. There's these two pails right here. Each of these could probably carry a couple grocery sacks, and the controller and everything is tucked away right back there, nice and not exposed or anything. It's pretty well protected. You could even stack stuff on top of this. So that's really cool. And again, they've just got a bunch of different editions and versions, or try to fit like car seats, and there's one they're trying to make it where you can transport a couple people, and they're working on like a truck version and stuff. But the 1.5, it really steps it up in terms of the motor being direct drive. It's a little bit quieter, and it's custom made to be high torque. So direct drive means it's just using magnets, but by sort of gearing it with this chain, they're able to accomplish a lot of torque still, because